I guess the goal for this video is to show you how we produce brand documentary, branded content here in New York. That you can see how we are doing it, everything that comes in our mind, all of our process when we're producing something like this, with our approach of producing high quality videos with as little gear and as few people as possible. So yeah, just want to share this with you. May I ask you once to clap in your hands in front of your face? Once? So I want to share a little bit about this project to give you a little bit background. I got a connection to a German international school here in New York, White Plains. The marketing person kind of got connected to me because we shot last year a video for a soup kitchen here in Brooklyn. And she saw this video and she reached out to me to ask me if we can produce a video for her. And so it was kind of the best case. And like 2 days later, it became clear that we could work together. So for me, challenges with projects like this is immediately like filming a documentary, want to produce a documentary, and so making it feel authentic. In the same time, while you know that you produce for an organization who pays you and they want to deliver certain messages. And this is kind of the hardest thing when it comes down of creating authentic branded documentaries, because yeah, it's sometimes quite hard to match these two things. So after the intro call, we wrote them a proposal for a 2.5 to 3 minute long documentary. We included 2 B-roll days where we would film all the lessons, all the pupils in the school, kind of documenting everything, and 1 interview day where we would interview different stakeholders, for example, like the headmaster, teacher, and mother, and also pupils, and let them speak about the school and about bringing in their perspective. They approved the proposal, so we could start more or less immediately with the production phase. And when it comes down to pre-production, I think one of the most important things is understanding the client. What does the client need and what message do they want to deliver? And I said this before, the first big message was definitely highlighting that they are not a German international school, that they are an international school. Their goal was kind of opening up a little bit and yeah, going for more international pupils. The second important message for them was highlighting the community. There's a big, beautiful community up in White Plains, and you could really tell that people at the school are very connected with each other. And also to say that the property of the school is beautiful. They have huge outdoor spaces. They have a lot of space for the classes. So it was very important to highlight all of this, especially in the visuals, and to bring this perspective in as well. So in this phase, we did a lot of research. Also, how do other films of schools, documentaries of schools look like? And also we ask for a lot of photos of the property to get a clear picture how it actually looks like over there. Usually we would try to do a location scouting before the shooting days, but it is very far. It took us, I think, nearly 2 hours to get there by car because of traffic. So that's why we agreed to do most of it remotely, work with photos they sent us. The second point is definitely which message do you want to deliver. And so when we talk to a client, it's, I think, the most important thing to just ask questions and try to incorporate as much as possible. But also to say it's also important to guide them a little bit and to be realistic about the production effort and also value. For example, our client wanted immediately like the interviews, but also had at the same time ideas of voiceovers with different pupils. And I had to tell them that the final product would only be like 2.5 minutes, and it's very hard to incorporate so many perspectives in a film like this. And another big thing when it came down to planning was definitely the agreement of the kids, because we filmed with so many kids. It was super important that all the kids who have been filmed would also have some agreements from the parents, from the family side, so that we don't run into any issues after producing this. So I think this was probably the most challenging thing, to get all the signatures and the approval of the parents before filming. But yeah, after that we were pretty set to go and we could start really shooting. I would like to know. It was already late fall and we wanted to incorporate and show in the film as much of the property as possible, and therefore we had it basically immediately out, I think a week later, and started shooting for them, with them, just so that we get enough shots of the property, get enough shots of the kids playing outside, getting educated outside. We tried to keep it very basic and very slim. We didn't want to draw too much attention on us and on our whole setup. That means crew was me as the producer and the DP. We had one executive producer, which was the marketing manager, and we had one production assistant who helped with the whole gear, with driving, and yeah, kept everything organized. Also, we filmed everything with as little gear as possible. We filmed everything with the Sony A7 IV. We only used, I think, 2 lenses. Most of it handheld. Try to document everything from different angles and to tell and show the story of the kids. We managed to get all the outside shots of the school, all the establisher, all the drone shots very early in the morning. Looks very, very good, especially in the fall. And yeah, this was basically our whole first production day in October, which, to be honest, went pretty well. We came back in December for the second B-roll day, where we filmed most of the stuff inside, kind of the physics class lessons, the biology, the chemistry. We filmed some sport classes and tried to get different ages, different pupils, so that we had a good variety. The most challenging part about this day, filming indoor classrooms, it's not the most beautiful thing, but also it's the biggest difference compared to filming commercials, where everything is super staged and super beautiful set up. This is kind of how it is, and this is kind of the trade-off when producing documentaries, that you wanna and have to keep it real sometimes. On the next day we filmed the interview and we tried to get our messages that we wanted to hear, that we wanted to get from different perspectives. And therefore we interviewed, I think, 5 people. We interviewed headmaster, parents, teacher, and also pupils, just that we get all these messages and to connect them in the final video. And this day was definitely the day with the biggest production value. We filmed with 2 cameras, we had lights, and we also managed to film nearly all the interviews in different setups, in different rooms. I think this is just a very easy trick to add your production value, because it's just visually more appealing if it's not the same setup and the same background all the time. And when filming the interviews, we wanted to make sure that we get the messages delivered, but of course also in an authentic way. And therefore, we briefed the people, but we did not hand them the exact questions. It feels more authentic and feels more real. Sometimes I try to ask the question in a different way to get another perspective out of it. And usually this works very well for it. And when we ended up the interview day, we came home with around 400 gigabyte of footage total of these 3 days. And then it was time to start post-production. Let's take our time and burn it slow. We just finished the project. I'm waiting right now for the final feedback and I can't wait to share it here. We'll probably link the video, the final one, down in the description, but want to give you some thoughts about the edit. I edited everything myself in Premiere. The biggest challenge was definitely the narrowing down the story. We ended up having, I think, 1.5 hours of only interviews, and that's a lot for a 2.5 minute long documentary. So narrowing everything down and still telling a story and not just making kind of a podcast out of it was the most important, most challenging thing. I just thought which person, which interview partner could tell which angle of which story, and did some multi-camera edit to enhance the visual story. And after having kind of the messages and kind of the story pillars, I edited some of the B-roll. Most of the B-roll turned out very well, especially the clips from outside in the early mornings. Also the shots with the little kids playing outside. All this with this beautiful fall light just looks beautifully. And I think a big lesson was also for me to plan all of this very properly, just because we filmed one of the teacher and we were able to film also one of her classes. It was very easy to edit some of the B-roll to her interviews. And after having this, I added some music, I enhanced the audio, fixed the audio, I added some colors to it, and I just tried to build out of this story a beautiful film that tells the school's mission and story. And that's basically how this whole project ended. I hope in a very good way, and I hope that you could see how we are doing it at 24 Stills, how we approach our brand documentaries here. I hope that I can aim and go for more projects like this one for this year. This is going to be our main product that we right now are selling in New York to different corporate clients. I will hopefully share more updates about that. Let me know if you have any more questions. Happy to answer all of this. And see you in the next one.